Hello everybody, good morning and welcome to the United Stand. I hope you're all doing very well this morning. Has Solskjaer got one game left? We'll be looking at the enormity of this Manchester derby, what it means for the future of Solskjaer, where we stand as a football club in relation to the favourites to take over Solskjaer, if that is even possible. So we'll be talking about that as well. We'll also be talking about this Paul Pogba debate, which I called it a week ago, didn't I? I said this is spin, and they've worked it out really, really well. We've also had a message from somebody, which I think we're going to read out, which is a very sad state of affairs. A 50-year-old Manchester United fan from the Manchester region who sent us a message. We'll be reading that out. I think it's quite hard-hitting as well. We'll also be talking about, are United a one-man team under Ronaldo? Also injuries, Donny van der Beek, Eric Bailly, will they be starting at the weekend? Bit of transfers news as well. So it's a very busy show today. We've also got the preview coming in live at 2 o'clock for the Manchester derby. So a busy day. We're back on it, working towards this big game. But first of all, as you can see, below me, and that's very apt, we're back. We're sponsored by Manscaped today. It's November and the holidays have come early at Manscaped. The leading men's hygiene brand, Manscaped, just launched new products including their all-new ultra-premium body wash and a 2-in-1 shampoo and conditioner. It's time to give yourself, or someone else if they need it, the gift of beautiful skin, hair and balls this holiday season. You know what it said? It's time to give yourself or somebody else if they need it. Does that mean you give them the 2-in-1 shampoo and conditioner and say, crack on your own, or my mind's gone with that one, but there you go. I think you gift it to them. You gift it to them. You don't have to wash them unless that's what you want to do. And they want to do it as well. So what are you waiting for? Join the movement with our exclusive offer for you. 20% off and free worldwide shipping when you click the link in the description. I haven't had my 2-in-1 body wash yet. I want some of this Manscaped 2-in-1 body wash. As well as all their new products, of course, they've got the Lawnmower 4.0. This is what it's all about. A new multifunctional on and off switch. Travel lock created for people who like to travel. The ability to turn the LED light on and off so you can get a more precise shave. The new trimmer allows you to also adjust your lengths if you want to. So look, you see you can knock it up and down. To do your lengths. There you go. A length of hair. It's sleek with a two-tone matte finish. It's also got a customizable stamped black chrome Manscaped sign on it. Very fancy. And of course it's got wireless charging, uses electromagnetic induction, which can help battery life last longer. Very, very fancy. Alongside the new Lawnmower 4.0, you can get their brand new performance package, which includes my favourite, which is the Weed Whacker, which I haven't actually used for a couple of weeks because we've not done Manscaped for a couple of weeks, so I obviously do need it. You can hear the noise. Trim the nose to make your hair not look stupid. You can do your ears as well. I would clean it, but I haven't got hairy ears anyway. You get the crop preserver, the crop provider, very comfy boxer shorts, and a travel bag. And because Manscaped care about everybody that watches the United Stand, you can get 20% off and free worldwide shipping when you click the link in the description. So what are you waiting for? Head over to manscaped.com, get your products now. As I always say with Manscaped, I use them. I was literally in the shower a couple of days ago using that. Not that one. I have a model I use for the shows, and I have a live one upstairs, which I don't want any debris in there and people go, oh, what's that? So but yeah, fantastic products. I do use them myself. I just use the Weed Whacker live on air, and I'm very intrigued by this 2-in-1 shampoo as well. So 20% off. Get on with it. Links in the chat. Well done to Manscaped. I really like their products, and I think you will do too. Mark, we aren't a one-man team under Ronaldo, but we're fast becoming one under Ollie, mate, says Rohan. Well, I want to talk about that, but let's just talk about Solskjaer for a moment, because where are we at in relation to Solskjaer's future? The thumbnail says one more game, and the title says Solskjaer's last chance. I wouldn't disagree with that. I would not disagree with that, and I do want to get into quite a lot of debates this morning, so get ready. But I wouldn't disagree that this could be Ollie's last game, and I wouldn't disagree that this is Solskjaer's last chance. But what I would say, a relative bit of calm, is that I don't think the club are planning to sack Solskjaer, because if they're going to sack Solskjaer, they're going to have to do it on Monday. Who are they going to get? Like Zidane, there's no noise around Zidane. Well, the current favourites from Sky Bet are Rodgers is 2-1, Brendan Rodgers. Zidane is 4-1. Pochettino is 8-1, and Ten Hag is 10-1. Well, I would dismiss Pochettino and Ten Hag straight away because they will be next summer. I mean, PSG are not going to sack a manager that is over 10 points clear in the French league and qualified from the Champions League, so they're not going to sack Pochettino. Ten Hag's not going to leave Ajax, so Brendan Rodgers or Zidane are the two favourites, and that's if United decided to do anything near competent and sack Solskjaer, now or after the derby. So I don't think United are planning to do it, but if we lose on Saturday, I think some people think if we lose the derby on Saturday, that will force United to sack him. Well, it should do, 100%. He should be gone already. So if he loses on Saturday, he should be gone. But as I keep saying, United have lowered the standards so successfully at this football club that I think if we lose on Saturday, it won't hit as hard as Liverpool. They've basically ridden the storm with the Liverpool game. I mean, what's worse than 1 point in 12 and getting hammered at home to Liverpool? Nothing really. We've sandwiched that with a win against Spurs and a draw against Atalanta. So if we lose to Man City, they'll be thinking the fans have reset again. So I'm not convinced that he goes if we lose to City, but I think he definitely should. So it could be his last chance. It could be his last game. I don't think we will lose to City, but I'll talk about that on the preview later. So look, that's where we are at the moment. Ed Woodward is leaving at the end of the year. He won't sack Ollie. The next person might. Any ideas on his replacement? Says Smiler. Well, no change, no change. It's Arnold, isn't it? Richard Arnold, who is basically Woodward's right-hand man for the last few years anyway. No change. Hello, Mark. Love the United Stand channel. Keep up the great content, says Oscar Davies. But look, you know what? If you wanted a little bit of a reminder of what Manchester United's all about, I actually got sent something today from the social media manager of Manchester United, the worldwide social media manager, who'd posted somewhere about how Manchester United have only been on TikTok for a year and they've got the most followers on TikTok of any football club. So I think on Sunday afternoon, if you can get yourself down to Manchester City Centre, we've got an open top bus parade going on and they've got the TikTok Cup, which is something really to be proud of, isn't it? I mean, the fact that they put this shit out there and expect fans to go, yes. I mean, it's just, but it tells you what the football club's all about. We've got the most followers on TikTok. Great. Can you see the excitement in my face? Manchester United have got the most followers on TikTok. Great. It's just brilliant. And how does this benefit us as football fans? I'm sure it's making the Glazers a lot of money, but it will be, won't it? Because you're expanding, as it said in the article, you're expanding your youth fan base. But I mean, I've got to applaud Manchester United. The way they run that club corporately is just unbelievable. How we've got the most followers on TikTok, how we've got the most followers anywhere else, is because we're just so good at it. Corporately, we're so good because we don't win anything. Our form over the last 8 years is worse than Leicester City. They've won more major trophies than we have since Sir Alex Ferguson retired. So, you know, but that's what we've become. Would you take Brendan Rodgers, Donny to start, says Josh? I want Zidane now. To be honest with you. But look, I'm going to read you this email, actually. I mean, there's so much to talk about, but I just want to bring this in because this is somebody who's been messaging the United Stand for a long time. I'm not going to give their full name in case they don't want us to, but it's Craig. He says... so Craig's a 50-year-old Mancunian, and he said that let me just read this very quick one. Never get hung up on top reds, better fan bullshit. It's juvenile behaviour from the insecure. Okay. I've been watching the United Stand since 2015, but after 40 years of supporting Manchester United, I'm finally and literally had to step away. It's affecting my mental health. When I see the team take the field, all I visualise are the Glazers and their crippling grip on the babes. Supporting any team is, of course, about the ups and downs. However, this ownership has sunk things to an all-time low for me. They're ripping fans off on ticket prices, official merch and TV deals. I can't do it anymore. I didn't watch the Champions League match, haven't tapped into the United Stand for a few days, having watched it for years, and won't even watch the local derby this weekend. I think it was wise to stay off social media. I feel so much better this last 48 hours stepping away from United. I don't feel guilt. It's not Manchester United anymore. It's Glazer Financial FC. I know you can't step away because it's what you do. So just to let you know that over the years I've had nothing but respect for the United Stand community and the United fan base. Your grandfather would be proud of how you've sincerely become a standard bearer for all true United fans, and for that I'm eternally grateful. Well, I don't agree with that last bit, but I've just read it out verbatim there. I don't agree with that last bit. And he also said, where was it? P.S. If their master plan was to kill off the legacy fans, the Glazers are winning again. So, I mean, I don't know what your thoughts are on that, and obviously the comments on me, I don't see myself as a flag bearer for anything, but the impact of that message is quite big, because I think there's a lot of United fans that feel like this. And funnily enough, when you think of one of these top reds, and I don't like the term top red, it gets thrown out there to wind people up. You know, I've been called it, I'm not a top red, but it winds people up. It's not a very good term. But if you think of a stereotypical top red, I guarantee if you ran a poll, most people would go 40 to 60 Mancunian. That would be the profile, right? But actually, a lot of fans in that group which I speak to quite a few of them, and I'd say 40 to 70 actually, are starting to feel disassociated with the club. And the club are targeting, and the reason I mentioned that TikTok thing, because one of the things they say on there is it's allowed us to expand our, fan base into the youth. So the thing is that, look, I'm speaking here in relation to statistics and what the club has released over the last 18 months. They are targeting the younger fan base. The older fan base may think that, yeah, we're all part of it. But a lot of them are realising it for what it is. The club would love, and we saw this with the Super League, they'd love to move away from the legacy local fans. They want to move towards the TikTok global fan because it's a bigger audience and it's easier to manipulate because they're all on social media. So look, it's interesting. I think United fans are becoming disillusioned by the Glazers. That doesn't mean you can't back the team, back Ollie or not back Ollie, whatever. But the ownership, I think Craig's right to a certain extent. There is a disillusionment. Now I can't step away. I wouldn't step away anyway, but I think fans are becoming disillusioned because it's just so obvious. I don't think the Glazers even try to hide it now. We're going through a really difficult time, and they're championing the TikTok Cup, and the shareholders meeting is going to happen very soon as well. They'll be talking about social media interactions since Ronaldo's came in. Morning, Mark. Just off topic a bit. The football that Ajax play under Ten Hag is such a joy to watch compared to the football we play under Ollie, says Tyrese. And hi, Mark. I absolutely love the show. Could you please wish my friend Kyle a happy 22nd birthday and call him a prat, says Callum. Happy birthday to Kyle. There we go. Nice one from Callum. Kyle apparently a prat, but happy birthday. I think the Ten Hag thing is a bit... look, I want to move on to some different topics, but look, the game on Saturday is huge. We're previewing it at 2 o'clock. We'll get into the depths of how I think that's going to go then. But if we lose on Saturday, what do you want me to say? I'm already sacked Solskjaer, so it's not going to change my mind. I think Solskjaer has to be sacked. I just don't ever think he's going to be good enough. But if you want Ten Hag, you're going to wait till next season. Why are we waiting? Why is Manchester United Football Club waiting 7 months to bring in a manager that might work, but he might not work? Why does a big club wait 7 months? Spurs took 3 months to realise they'd made a mistake and sacked him. We'll be in 7 months. Ollie will have been here 3.5 years. Why would you wait 7 months for Ten Hag? We're Manchester United. You knock on his door and you say, "Do you want this job?" Well, I feel a bit loyal to Ajax. Screw you then. Bye. See you later. With Manchester United, at what point do we start getting this out, Manscaped, and show a bit of balls? Perfect. Because I don't know why we're waiting 7 months. Oh, well, let's wait 7 months for Pochettino. Let's wait 7 months for Ten Hag. Let's sort the bloody club out. Let's, seven. And the contradiction for me is Cavani's gone in 7 months. Pogba's gone in 7 months. Donny will be gone in 7 months. Ronaldo will only have a year left in 7 months. We've got a short-term team, but we're now looking for a long-term solution. It's so bloody frustrating. You know what? You don't even have to... Manchester United is just an open wound with an elastoplast on the top. Open it up and you'll see the damage. We need major surgery in that football club, not another packet of plasters from Tesco. We need major surgery. Any truth to Zidane declining Newcastle for us? I've not heard anything about Zidane. There's nothing more I would like to do than talk about Zidane to Manchester United, but I'm not going to get my hopes up anymore. Donny plays 5 minutes. Social media MUFC posts him non-stop. They know that they are doing and how he is being treated, says Cal. Yes, look, you know what? Again, I saw another thing about Eric Bailly, and they were using him as well. And I thought, the football club's social media side of things actually mocks the manager. Oh, Donny, Eric, Sancho. And the fans have been talking about this for months. And then they play a few minutes or they play a game and the social media, look. This will get us some positivity. It makes Ollie look a knobhead. But they don't care because they get the interaction, don't they? And I think that I was reading something today about Donny van der Beek. Will Donny van der Beek now get his chance? And I thought, well, I hope he does get his chance because he's good enough. But whenever Ollie gives Donny van der Beek a run in the team, he's going to make himself and his coaching staff look even more incompetent because this has been spoken about for over a year. Give Donny van der Beek a chance. And he won't do it. He won't do it. He gives him 5 minutes in an Atalanta game. And what's he going to go now? Oh, actually... he's proved himself. Nonsense. You know, you know what? The streets won't forget those fans that have been going, Donny's no good. It's just a hype train. He's not even that good. He's crap. That's why he doesn't get picked. That's why he's picking McTominay and Fred, because Donny's shit. And I'm like, I don't think he is shit. I really don't. I just think it's incompetence that why he's not been picked. Whether he'll get involved in that Man City game, we'll talk about it at 2 o'clock. But a bit of a spoiler: Donny ain't starting against Man City. Neither's Jadon Sancho. Eric Bailly might, but we'll talk about that at 2 o'clock. What I want to talk about very, very quickly, because we've got loads to get into. So we've spoken about Solskjaer there. We're going to talk. Let me just do Varane's injury. So Varane is out for 4 weeks. Hamstring injury. Told you it wasn't going to be a quick thing. Varane is a world-class player, but he knows his body. I saw him do this against France. You know, he doesn't get stretchered off. He just knows something's there, and he gets himself off. You know, that comes with experience and quality. That, you know, you feel something. Some players will carry on and make it worse. Varane will just get out there, and he did that very much. So on Tuesday night against Atalanta. So this is a hamstring problem now. He'll be out for 3 or 4 weeks, which means 4 weeks' time, I think, is Chelsea. So we'll rush him back for the Chelsea game. I mean, I said it about Varane last week. When he was back training, I said, lucky Ollie again. And I got loads of pelters from certain people. But what I meant is he's pushing players back. We did it with Rashford. We did it with McTominay. We've done it with Maguire. And we've done it with Varane. And Varane wasn't meant to be back for the derby, and he's played 2 games and he's out again. Manchester United's medical department or coaching team need calling out every time this happens, because they do it all the time, and it's just another big red flag of how desperate we are as a football team, that we have to rush people back. I mean, Harry Maguire hadn't trained until the day before the Leicester game when we played him. Eric Bailly had been on international duty and was fully fit. Eric Bailly played against Atalanta better than Maguire's played probably all season, and yet in the Leicester game, Eric Bailly sat on his arse whilst an injured Harry Maguire is costing us a win virtually. It's just Ollie and his favourites forcing them back. It's ridiculous. So Varane's out, and that does weaken us, because I think we saw against Spurs that, you know, Varane is just head and shoulders above any centre-back we've got. So we're going to have to do it without Varane now. I'm going to talk about Tchouaméni in a moment. I want to talk about whether Man United are a one-man team as well, and also a little bit about Sancho and Lingard. But I just want to bring Pogba in here. I think bringing Paul Pogba into this situation as well. I don't know whether Lindelof is out, said Jamie. I'm going to try and find out this morning. I know he's got a bit of a problem, so it'd be probably. I mean, I don't know. I think we have to look. I'm delving into the City preview at 2 o'clock about formations. We'll talk about that then. But I did want to just bring Paul Pogba into the show, because I'm going to quantify this by saying Paul Pogba's going to leave Manchester United. I've been saying this for a long time. Mino Raiola is not somebody I like. I think he's, you know, if you're a football fan of a football club, Mino Raiola is never going to appeal to you. If you're one of those fans that supports players like Ronaldo or Pogba, then, you know, you might like Mino Raiola, because some people are like Pogba FC, aren't they? Or Mourinho, they just follow certain things over a club. I can't get my head on for that, but there you go. So look, I understand the negativity around Paul Pogba. If you look at it over the years, I mean, literally, about how many years ago was it that Pep came out and said before the derby that he'd been offered Paul Pogba? You know, this has been going on for a long time, and I'm not going to pretend that Paul Pogba's relationship with Mino Raiola has been a very difficult one for United fans. I mean, just before the Leipzig game, nearly a year ago, he's coming out saying bad things, and we lost to Leipzig and we ended up in the Europa League. So, look, Pogba's not an innocent party here, and a lot of the problems have been brought on by Pogba himself, and I'll put my hands up and say that. He's been an inconsistent player for United. I think on his day he's fantastic, and when he's not on his day, as we saw against Atalanta, he's a passenger. So all those things are relevant. But what did I say a week ago? There was so much aimed at Solskjaer and the coaches that I was like, there needs to be, what do they call it? A fall guy. There needs to be somebody, an alternative. There needs to be something to push the frustration away from Solskjaer and the coaches onto something else. And I think Paul Pogba, it started last week, didn't it? There was a story last Wednesday about Pogba, and Pogba had ignored Ollie or something, this, that and the other, and people started going, get him out of the club. And it's basically built over the last week. And obviously it's not helped by the fact of what I said there. He didn't play particularly well against Atalanta. But I've really noticed it. I even tweeted it this morning. Paul Pogba's getting more hate and wanted out the club more than Ole Gunnar Solskjaer at the moment. Now, neither of them should be getting hate, but it almost feels at the moment like Pogba is getting more people wanting him out the club than they want Ollie out. And I'm like, well, this is what I predicted a week ago. Spin it away from Solskjaer and the team and spin it to an individual. Paul Pogba is the ultimate fall guy. Now, I'm not saying United have manipulated this. I think they're more than capable of doing it. But it's very convenient, isn't it, that now Pogba's getting all this blame. He can't play in the league anyway, so it doesn't damage Solskjaer to have Pogba being targeted because Pogba can't play anyway. He's leaving in the summer anyway. So actually, Pogba's fair game from a United point of view. Pogba getting a bit of the heat and taking it away from Solskjaer is pretty good at the moment because he can't play for 2 or 3 weeks anyway. He's banned. So I called it, I saw it, and it's happened. And look, Pogba didn't play well the other night, but what I will keep saying is, if you're a British player, you get away with it compared to being a foreign player. Whether you're Paul Pogba, Bruno Fernandes, David De Gea, Anthony Martial, the amount of stick and criticism they get from the media, ex-players, some of our fan base, compared to Rashford, Maguire, McTominay, Luke Shaw, it's so obvious. You can call that whatever you want, but it is so obvious. As an English Manchester United fan, I can see it. And I've seen it for years. And all I would say is, yeah, Pogba didn't play well the other night, and Pogba will leave the club. But it's interesting how, and I'll have this argument with anybody. Look, if we get a new manager in, people think McTominay and Fred will never play for United again. They might. If Zidane comes in, he might look at those two and go, that is our best midfield. They just need coaching properly. And look, I don't think Greenwood, Rashford have been developed well over the last couple of years, so it stands to reason that McTominay's not been developed well over the last couple of years. I don't think any of those 3 players have gone up a gear yet. I think they're just the same player they were 2 years ago. Argue with me, I think they're the same players. They're talented in their own way, but they've not been developed, and that's down to the coaching. So, I think McTominay could have a future at United under a different coach and would certainly get a clean slate. But Jack says, if Eric Bailly starts versus City, we should be okay. Would you start Donny and Sancho? We'll talk about that at 2 o'clock, Jack. And Pogba doesn't want to be there. Donny van de Beek does. Sell Pogba and move it on from him, says Jim. And I feel similarly to the chap, so very disillusioned with United, says Mickey Finn. Just going back to that one, Jim, how the fuck are we going to sell Paul Pogba? He's out of contract, mate. The club have created the problem with Pogba as well. People can say, get him out, this, that and the other. He's got all the cards in this situation. So I don't know why people are, like, let's get rid of Pogba, let's sell Pogba. It's totally up to him, mate. And the club's allowed that to happen. But what I was going to go back to is that it just doesn't sit right with me how everyone's going in on Paul Pogba off one bad performance. And yet we've seen Fred, McTominay in those positions play bad for most of the season. And is it not coincidental that Paul Pogba is the target again? And yesterday I see a clip from the tunnel of the Atalanta game with Scott McTominay acting like, Mel Gibson from Braveheart. Look at leader Scott, this, that and the other. And I'm like, the contrast here is ridiculous. You've got clips of Scott McTominay in the tunnel acting like bloody Mel Gibson. You've got Paul Pogba being thrown, under the bus basically. And yet when you watch the game, you're having an argument about who was worse. You are. But one player is being treated in one way and the other's like, this is a future captain of Man United. And yet, on the football pitch, both of them were dreadful. So, don't tell me this is not different, how people get treated. And I've seen it with De Gea and Henderson, I've seen it with Bruno, and I've seen it with Lingard, and I've also seen it with Harry Maguire and Lindelof. If you're a foreign player, you just seem to get treated differently. And, I think Pogba's going to go anyway. And in no way am I saying that Pogba should get a free ride. He's been crap recently, but the way players get treated differently, I think it does need calling out. I just don't get it. And I thought yesterday was appalling because Pogba was being held up in this light. And then McTominay's like this bloody cheerleader in the tunnel, which is great to see. But I'm like, hold on a minute, I'm nearly falling in this myself. Cheerleader in the tunnel, villain on the pitch, both of them played shit. One's being treated like a villain, one's being treated like a future leader of the club. But I tell you what it does show. People laughed at me about 4 weeks ago when I said, I've got it on good authority that Solskjaer sees McTominay as his Roy Keane. Tell me I'm wrong. You're right about that, but in the case, give Donny van de Beek game time and let Pogba sit on the bench. He doesn't want to be there, and it shows on the field, says Jim. Yeah, but Jim, Pogba's suspended. He ain't even going to be sat on the bench, so I wouldn't worry about Pogba in that sense. I feel sorry for people who want Pogba out more than Ollie. If you think Pogba leaving changes anything, then you need to wake up. Things will be worse, says Gnomes. Look, you know what I would say about Paul Pogba? I think you've hit the nail on the head. Why are we talking about Paul Pogba leaving the football club? Why is Paul Pogba even being spoken about? He's leaving anyway, and he's suspended. That's my whole point. We're being manipulated to talk about Pogba when it's irrelevant. Pogba can't play, and he's going to leave. Solskjaer is here and underperforming, and yet everyone's talking about Pogba and forgetting that. This is how it works at United. Move you away to something that doesn't really damage them, and keep the real damage in the corner away from your mind. So look, we've got a big game at the weekend. Pogba can't even bloody play in it. So why are we talking about Pogba? We need to focus on Solskjaer and the team that's going to play on Saturday and winning in the derby. But it's spin, 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 as Biggie Smalls says. Sorry, we never see Pogba who plays for France, so I'm not bothered if he leaves for free or not, says Ray Carla Brown. He has to go, blood. He has to go, says Pingu. And I feel sorry for people. Yeah, you know what? As well. People can flip this two ways. So some people will agree with me, some people won't, because it's a really divisive thing to say. Manchester United have failed Paul Pogba because of crap coaches. They have. How can he play well for France and not play well for England? Because he's not English. But how can he play well for France and not play for Manchester United? Well, for Manchester United, if he was playing shit for France and shit for United, I'd say, well, he's just an overhyped player. He plays well for France, he plays bad for Manchester United. He's motivated for France, he's not motivated for Manchester United. France get the best out of him, Manchester United don't. Whatever the reason, there is a real contrast there, and Manchester United have to take responsibility. And we know the coaching's poor at United, so it's probably a factor there, isn't it? Anyway, are we a one-man team under Cristiano Ronaldo? This is something that's being discussed quite a lot at the moment. Are Manchester United a one-man team under Cristiano Ronaldo? I would say yes, we are. Because if we didn't have Cristiano Ronaldo, we would be in a lot of problems. I saw somebody yesterday say that, yeah, but if you didn't have Ronaldo, would other players step up to the plate in his absence? Would other players take the opportunities that he's taken? And the answer to that question is no, because that's what we were like last season. Varane's injured, Sancho doesn't get picked. We're basically last season's team with Ronaldo in it, and we're a better team for it. We would have lost to Atalanta at home, and we would have lost to Atalanta away without Ronaldo. And we might not have beaten Spurs. And that's only 3 examples. There will be other examples as well. But the Atalanta header at Old Trafford, the Atalanta equaliser against Atalanta on Tuesday, and the volley that got us going against Spurs, there's no player in the world that can do that. Those 3 goals are just unbelievable. And this is the brilliance of Ronaldo. Lewandowski might be able to score 2 of them. Messi might be able to score 1 of them. Cavani might be able to score 1 of them. But to score 3 of them, it's just the brilliance of Ronaldo. The header is world class. Not, only probably 5 players in the world could score that header against Atalanta. The equaliser against Atalanta on Tuesday, again, it's just so good. There's probably only 2 or 3 people who can finish that. And then the volley, again, there's probably 5 players who can do that. But to have one player who can score all 3, Messi couldn't score all 3 of those. He wouldn't be able to score the header for a start. Lewandowski, I don't think he would score the goal against Atalanta on Tuesday. The header, I think he could score that. The volley, I think he could score that. But even if Lewandowski can do it, it just shows you the quality. We don't have... There's nobody in that United team that could score, if you took Ronaldo out, would score those 3 goals. Cavani might score the header. He wouldn't score the Atalanta equaliser. Rashford might score the volley. He wouldn't score the header, and I don't think he'd score the goal that Ronaldo equalised with. He's just so good. And all of those goals were saving us. Like the Spurs goal was essential, the winner against Atalanta was essential, and the equaliser was essential. And that's why United are becoming a one-man team under Ronaldo. He's scoring goals that only he can score. And there's nobody in that team that if we didn't have Ronaldo would score them. So Ronaldo... And the thing is, what are people trying to say? Well, if you took Ronaldo out of the team, Cavani would score all those goals because we'd create different chances. We don't create chances for the number 9. Ronaldo's living off scraps, and that's why he's scoring so many world-class goals, because he's having to... That equaliser against Atalanta, I've watched it so many times. It's in the one place the keeper can't save it or a defender can't block it. It's bloody unbelievable. And we are a one-man team under Ronaldo at the moment, because I think De Gea has been brilliant this season. I really do, and he saved us. But obviously, he can't score goals. Ronaldo's scoring goals when we need, when we need a winner, when we need an equaliser, when we need a win. So we are a one-man team under Ronaldo, and if you took Ronaldo out that team, I don't think Solskjaer would still be here. But you know what? It's a weird one, because I think what you could say in defence is, well, he's a Man United player. He's one of the best players in the world. That's what you get when you get one of the best players in the world. But the thing, and that is right, and I would agree with that argument. Well, people are moaning about us being a one-man team, but he wears a United shirt and we bought him. That's why you buy players like that. Thumbs up, I agree. But let's not forget, Ronaldo wasn't even part of Man United's summer plans. We were never getting Ronaldo. It was right at the end of the transfer window, and it was because he was going to go to Man City. So, again, lucky Solskjaer, because he wasn't even planning on getting Ronaldo. So we are very much a one-man team at the moment, and I think that, other people need to try and step up to the plate. But Ronaldo is scoring goals that are not part of the system anyway. They're individual moments, really, aren't they? Bruno plays a worldy cross and Ronaldo volleys it in. We're messing around on the edge of the box and Ronaldo just eye of the needle smashes it in the bottom corner. Luke Shaw puts a decent cross in and Ronaldo turns it into an amazing cross by heading it into the top corner. It is quality. Absolute quality of Ronaldo, and I don't think we should shirk away from that, because at the end of the day, I'm quite comfortable saying we're a bit of a one-man team at the moment, because we're playing bloody terrible, and yet the results in the last 2 games haven't been too bad. So, a draw in the Champions League away to Atalanta is not a bad result, unless you watch the game. It was a bad performance, but it's not a bad result, and that's what I mean about Ronaldo. He's salvaging us results that on paper aren't that bad. You look back on that Atalanta draw in 5 years' time and you go, that wasn't a bad result, unless you can remember the game. And that's what Ronaldo's doing at the moment. He's salvaging things, isn't he? I also wanted to just talk about the long term for Manchester United. Actually, just very quickly on international break. We've brought up this before. International break is coming up. There's talk that Sancho and Lingard might miss out on the England squad because they're not playing enough games for Manchester United. I'm not sure. I think Southgate will pick Lingard for sure, but obviously Martial is in that same position as well. He has been in the French squad and he's not been picked. And obviously Donny van der Beek's lost his place in the Dutch squad as well. There's Telles, I don't think gets picked for Brazil anymore. There's a lot of United players that are struggling because of this. Lack of rotation, lack of a chance, favouritism, whatever you want to call it. So, it is worth realising that Martial was actually doing quite well in the French setup, but can't get near the United team at the moment. And Lingard, again, I actually was surprised that he brought Sancho and Donny on in them last 5 minutes, because I thought at the end of the game, so what happened to Lingard there? He normally chucks Lingard on. So it's, this is the problem, isn't it? If you're Jesse Lingard, you're sat there on Tuesday night and you're like, so he's bringing Donny and Sancho on ahead of me, yet when I've brought on, I've scored him goal. It's just different plans for different games, I suppose, but it's very difficult for these players to be getting called up for international duty. Explain how Bruno carried last season then. Ronaldo has made our attack less fluid. Number 9 is dead. Look at Chelsea, City and Liverpool, says Leskip. Ronaldo has made our attack less fluid. You know what? If you've got the time, mate, go and watch us play last season, because we've not had a fluid attack for years. Look, I know sometimes people will manipulate things to have an agenda, but what did we say at the end when we lost the Europa League final? There was 5 or 6 issues at United. He doesn't make subs, he doesn't rotate, he can't beat a low block, we can't deal with set pieces, and we don't create enough chances for our number 9. I mean, literally last season we were calling it the graveyard shift playing up front for United, and you're saying Ronaldo's made our attack less fluid. Like, we're just wasting time on the show, mate. We literally were calling the number 9 position the graveyard shift for United. So how can Ronaldo make us less fluid up front when we've never been fluid up front? Anyway, I want to talk a little bit about the long term, because there's a bit of a story coming out this morning about Manchester United scouting Tchouaméni. I think Monaco are in the Europa League, aren't they, or something like that. So there's some talk that United are scouting Tchouaméni. I hope we are scouting Tchouaméni. I think he's a very good player that would enhance Manchester United a lot. But I've got to be honest, I'm not interested in the long term. I think that long-term solutions need to be put in place, and we need a CDM. And I think whether it's Zidane, whether it's Rodgers, whether it's Ten Hag, whether it's Ollie, we need a CDM. So the club should be looking at Tchouaméni, and we should be scouting players in that position. But there's a huge short-term problem with Manchester United before we start looking at long-term. We've mentioned Pogba. We know Donny's situation's precarious. Telles, Cavani's going to go. Martial will probably go as well. I mean, there's 5 players. Lingard will probably go. You know, we're still going to have McTominay and Fred. There's massive problems with that squad coming up on the horizon. If we don't sort this problem out in the short term, the short term for me is getting the proper coaching as ASAP. I mean, there's not one part of me that thinks that this is going to work out with Solskjaer and everyone else. I just do not think it's going to work. I'm firmly believe he's not the right man. So for me, talking about transfers and this, that and the other, I would rather we didn't buy anybody in January. It's a bit like with Van Gaal. I didn't want Van Gaal to get anybody in the January because I wanted him gone. You don't want a manager that's not going to be your manager to buy any more players. And Ollie's record on signings, it's not looking that good at the moment. You know, Harry Maguire for 80 million, he's getting a lot of stick at the moment. I like Wan-Bissaka, but he's getting a lot of stick. Dan James is already gone. Sancho, 74 million, he's not even picking him. Telles, that's not looking good. Diallo's not looking good. Palestri's not looking good. Donny, less said about that. I mean, Ronaldo's Ronaldo. I'm trying to think who else Ollie bought. So we had the summer where he bought Harry Maguire. We've had the Donny summer. Yeah, I mean, look, his you know, when you think, you know, I've never looked at it like that before. His transfer record is not standing up, is it? It doesn't look very good at all. And it's very interesting. I mean, Varane's looking... Well, Varane's you can't really... You know what, actually, Varane's a really good one. And Bruno's fantastic, of course. But they nearly messed that up. He could have gone to Spurs. We said no, and Spurs nearly got him. So we were very lucky to get Bruno. I remember that sinking. Cavani was lucky. Agallo was bad. I just think that... I remember saying this under Mourinho. I remember that summer when we bought Bailly, Zlatan, Mkhitaryan and Pogba. And everyone was like, oh, he's a genius. And then it started to go a bit wrong. Pogba became inconsistent. Mkhitaryan was a flop. Eric Bailly got injured a lot. And Zlatan only played 9 months and then got injured. So I think with signings, you've got to wait 2 years before you can really start to assess them, because they come in, they do well, everyone says they're great, but you know, a new signings for 2-3 years, not just for Christmas. So I think with Ollie, the same thing happened. Everyone was like, oh, he's really good in the transfer market. Remember, people used to say, I mean, look, fair play to you, fair play. This has been going on for a long time. I remember 2 years ago, people were saying, Ollie's not a manager, he should be the director of football because his recruitment's good, but he's not a very good manager. And I remember saying, why would you give Ollie the director of football job? He's got no experience as a director of football. He's the coach, or he's sacked. And that was 2 years ago. Well, would you have him as your director of football now? Because I don't think his signings are that good. There's been some real crackers in there, like I say, Bruno. I think Varane will be good. Ronaldo will be good, but they're very obvious signings. The ones that have involved a little bit of thinking, a little bit of outside the box, the Donny van der Beeks, the Telles, the Harry Maguire for 80 million, the Dan James, the Diallos, they've not paid off at all. So, you know, his transfer record's not... Well, you know, it's not for me to say, but I don't think his transfer record is that good, is it? Ollie needs to be gone before we buy any more players, says Bradley. Donny, Sancho and Telles aren't even playing. Why would Ollie play Tchouaméni, says Bradley. And I feel Ted Lasso would be a better job than Ollie, says Jaden. I mean, look, in relation to transfers, what I was going to say is that we can scout Tchouaméni, we can look at other players. I don't really want Ollie to have another penny. I don't. I think when you get to a point where you've made your mind upon a manager, and I was in this position with Mourinho and Van Gaal as well, I don't want them to buy any more players, because I don't want them to be the coach anymore. So if they get any more players, it's more damage potentially. Look, what if United buy Ollie Trippier in January, and then he's gone in the summer, and Pochettino or somebody else comes in and goes, I don't even want Trippier. That's the sort of signing we shouldn't be making. Because I remember Ollie wanted Trippier in the summer. I was watching Trippier last night. I thought he was shit. I don't know why we're going for Trippier. Is it just because he's British? I don't know. I mean, he's not bad, but you know, 31 as well. I don't know why we were looking at that deal and we wanted to do it. I mean, I think that would have been another one. So, but the big reason for me is that if we'd brought in Conte last week, which some people would say we should have done, he would have come in and looked at that squad. It would have been a fresh, clean slate for everybody. And he might have gone, I like Martial. I'm going to use Martial a lot. Cavani's gone in the summer anyway. I'm using Martial. Cavani, you can be on the bench. I'm going to use Martial, Ronaldo. They're my strikers. Cavani, I'll use you a bit. I like Donny. I'm not using you anymore, McTominay. Fred, you're on the bench. I'm using Matic, and I want a proper CDM coming in as well. Pogba, let's see what we can do with him. Tellez, I like you. I'm going to use you a lot more because I'm going to play with a back five anyway. Luke Shaw, I'll use you, but you can play left centre back more as well. I like you in that position. You know, Delo, I like you. You know, that's what a new manager will come in. There's no way a new manager's going to come in and go, yeah, Van der Beek, Tellez, Martial, Sancho, you're on the bench. Diallo, not using you as well. A new manager's going to come in, and some of those players might still not be good enough and they might get sold, but we desperately need a new coach to come in because we're going to lose a lot of players that I think might have a future at this club, but obviously Ollie's decided they don't. And that's why we've got to look short term, because we can still rescue careers at Manchester United of good players. You know, I'm not convinced about Tellez defensively, but I really don't think he's had a run in the team enough. Donny's not had enough of a run in the team at all. I still think Martial's got something to offer. I know I'm in the minority there. You know, Lingard might have something to offer. But they're not going to get these opportunities under Ollie, are they? Mark, have you seen Ethan Laird is tearing it up with Swansea? What a talent he is, says Shahan. Yeah, look, very sad about Chong at Birmingham because he was doing really well and he's now out for 6 months with an injury. It's such a shame with Tahith Chong because I ultimately don't think he's going to make it. Certainly not at United. But the sad thing about Chong is that he was a player that was coming through the youth setup and then he was out for a year with a knee injury. And now he's gone to Birmingham City. He's done quite well, and he's out with another injury for a large proportion of the season. So, it's good when you hear these lads are doing well on loan because but there's no pathway to the first team for Manchester United players at the moment. I mean, Alanga, Hannibal, these are players that for me would be knocking on the first team door if they were under a different manager. But because we've got such an inflated squad, how can you get Hannibal or Alanga on the bench when Martial's not even getting on the bench sometimes? You know, Mata and people like that. So this was always going to be a problem as well. But look, we are doing the preview at 2 o'clock for the Manchester derby. Lots to discuss. I've really enjoyed the show this morning and I'm looking forward to the preview at 2 o'clock. It's a massive game. Will it be Ollie's last chance? We'll see. Will it be his last game? We'll see. But lots to talk about in relation to the derby. And I've got to say, lots to be positive about going into that derby game. Some might not be, but I've got a feeling. Anyway, thanks everyone for watching. Manscaped, links in the video description. 20% off and free worldwide shipping. Check it out. And I'll speak to you all at 2. Thanks for watching.